Here's a look at the day-to-day use of Involve for a classroom teacher. And we're starting on our homepage, and straight away we've got a timeline of everything we have going on today. And actually we can do everything we need to do without leaving this page. So I'm going to start by opening up my current lesson, which is the geography class at 2 o'clock. I just click on it, and with everything on Involve, the tools just come straight to you when you click on them. So for my classroom lesson, I've got my register and lesson plan, seating plan, and notes on the side as well. Everything is here that I might need for this lesson. So first of all, we'll take the register. Now with Involve's 3D attendance, that means we can see for every child in the class what they've been up to today, where else they might be during the current lesson, and their attendance status. So for this class, I have one student, Vivian, who's actually got a fixture at the moment. I could click in and see the details of that, but I can see he's present at the fixture. So for my class, I mark him as absent because he isn't here. And one other student here is late, but everyone else I'm going to mark as present with one click there. Now, with the fixture, we can see that the student is present in the fixture, and so Involve is going to automatically have the correct attendance code for that student. So I, as a teacher here, don't need to worry about what's happening with that attendance status. On each of these rows, I could also add an attendance comment if I need to, perhaps if there's any information about a lateness or an absence that I need someone else to see. But otherwise, I don't have anything here for handling attendance codes because that's all done behind the scenes and overseen by our attendance officer. Now, also on this page, I can do various things with the students here. So if I hover over one of these, I see a bit more info about the student. And beside their names, I've also got any tags which we've chosen to appear on registers. So that includes things like off games and also the SEN notes. So here's an example of a student with some notes that might be helpful for me to see as their classroom teacher. And if I need more details on that information, I could actually click through to the student's profile. And then under their details, I've got other kinds of medical notes and SEN information, such as these different flags that will have pulled through automatically from the MIS system. Heading back to my class, and one of the other things I can do here is track behaviour or wellbeing information. So I'm going to click on a few of these students to select them all, and then I can add some behaviour notes. So we could use the positive option here for rewards, and these tags along the top, which I can click one or more of, have already been set up by our school. And I can add some notes here and choose whether or not this is visible to the parents, and whether to share this note or perhaps a different note that I'd want the parents to see. And I've even got a box to tick if I want to make sure that's an immediate push notification alert for those parents. Let's do that again with a negative behaviour mark, perhaps for recording an incident. And in this example, it's fairly similar, but one additional option we have is to also add the student to an upcoming detention. And these have been pulled in automatically based on the student's year, and therefore which detentions they'll be eligible for. Now, if we work our way around some of the other things we have in this lesson area, one is the lesson plan. And I'm going to pull one in from my library of lesson plans, which I can have for myself, or I can have a shared school-wide lesson library. And I'll pull in that plan. I can then edit it. And this is editing a copy of my lesson plan to make sure it's exactly what I want to use for this lesson, including any attachments or external resources. And then that plan is now attached to this lesson. Of course, I would normally have done that in advance, and then I'd have the plan here ready to go. Moving on to the seating plan, this is a helpful way to see where students are sitting in the class, and I can easily drag and drop to move them around. We can also do things like randomly fill the room, or use this button to pick students at random, perhaps for questions during the class. Finally, on the right-hand side of the screen here, we have the communication area. And this is useful for writing notes either internally with other staff or externally to the parents or the students themselves. So I can do things like tag another member of staff and send a message that will notify them. Or I can change this to a communication to all students and parents, and perhaps attach a file to that, write some notes, and when I'm ready I'll be able to send that, and that will go out as an email or push notifications depending on whether people are using the Involve app. This is also the area from which we can set homework, and this has all the options you'd expect, including attaching other content or taking a photo of sheets and putting in info like the score and the due date for the homework. And when this is saved, this will automatically go onto the to-do list for our students in the Involve app, so they can see in one place all the homework they have sorted by their due dates. Lastly, let's imagine this lesson has finished and we can close it and see what we've got next today. Now it looks like we're actually covering a co-curricular ensemble session, so that's appeared in our timeline. I would have also received an email notification that I'd been put on cover for this. So I'll just click on that again to open it up. And for clubs, this looks slightly different, but I still have the same format of register to take to make sure I've marked all my students here. And I've got the same communication area on the right. In fact, lots of the functionalities are similar between classroom lessons and clubs, but some activities like fixtures would look a little bit different to this. For clubs in particular, we might also want to use one of the QR code scanning methods to quickly register in a larger group of students without having to go through our register one by one. That's everything for now. Of course, there are lots of other areas of Involve a teacher might use on a daily basis, particularly the search box for looking for students and finding where they are. But we'll leave those things for another video.